A lot of the search engine ranking pages now have a mixture of local and national based results. So if you target just the local based ones, if you are a smaller place or just started, then you still have a good chance of getting in there. AI is evolving so quickly and it's being used in so many cases. So as you half mentioned, a lot of people are using AI to create their content now. Now, if you're that person who's generating that content again, you're regurgitating those original sources, right? So you're
Yeah.
bringing nothing new to the table. You might write a topic about fixing a sink, right? But what's different about the way you do it compared to someone else? Reputation is also massive as well. So it's always important to take a step back, have a look at everything as a whole, and then make a plan going forward from then.
Cai Simpson, founder and managing director of Victory Digital. Welcome to Eat Coffee with Experts.
Thank you very much.
Your background in content and the technical aspect of things makes you a perfect example of SEO, and it makes sense that you would launch a business around SEO and continue to stay at the forefront of everything that's changing right now, with everybody saying SEO is dead, SEO is evolving, SEO is this, it's that. There's all these types of different acronyms that you want to use. If somebody is really struggling in digital marketing, particularly in SEO right now, how would you consult them and share a little bit about what you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot going on in the industry at the minute. A lot of big changes. I mean, I haven't personally seen, in the last year or so much changes since the BERT or Hummingbird updates. It's understandable if people are feeling a little bit maybe anxious about their website performance or SEO tactics. I think the core thing at the minute is just keep it simple. Look at the core fundamentals of what is going on. How well are you ranking? How technically well built the website is. I mean, that's probably a little bit less important these days because of how, there's a lot of pre-built websites already out there that does a lot of the technicals for you. I come from an era where you have to do a lot of that yourself. But I think for a lot of people as well, they obviously are very passionate about their business. They want it to do well and everything. So I think reputation is also massive as well. It's always important to take a step back, have a look at everything as a whole, and then make a plan going forward from there. And that's typically what we do with any new clients that come on board with us, or actually just want to find out a few things. So yeah,
just drop it down to the fundamentals. And there's the three pillars of SEO, right? On-site, technical, and then off-site authority. When it comes to AI overviews, because we're going to get into your tracking tool that you're developing, but when it comes to those kind of three pillars, obviously they're all important, but are you seeing any one of those three really influence LLMs and AI overviews more than the other?
It's very much a mixture of all. You want to do all of it first and foremost. Absolutely, you'll do. But what I am seeing is those with larger reputations and authority. I would say that they are being showcased a lot more prominently. The sentiment behind it is also typically a lot better, but that's because they've had years of doing this. As Saul mentioned before, these are all old SEO fundamentals from years ago. So there's a lot of people doing it out. But if you're a brand new website, you've just started, you may have just built it. It's not the end of the world, though. I would chuck in there, because what you can do is there are little tactics in between, like say local SEO tactics that you can use to start getting in with the big boys. A lot of the search engine ranking pages now have a mixture of local and national based results. So if you target just the local based ones, if you are a smaller place or just started, then you still have a good chance of getting in there. Fundamentally, I would always strongly advise get the fundamentals done. And with something with like backlinking, do it sooner rather than later. Because it does take a long time to do, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, backlinking is it's kind of, there's different sides to it, but a lot of people say that backlinking is like the backbone of SEO, because it's votes of confidence from the internet, and algorithms are still looking for trust, but also citations and brand mentions is in terms of like, getting your entity starting to form, like that's also becoming much more important. And we're seeing that LLMs are citing mentions, not necessarily needing a do follow link to it. I'm curious. So let's dive right into the tracking tool that you're building, Matrona. Tell us a little bit about what that is. I know it's still under wraps, so don't disclose anything unless you want it to be a world exclusive here. But
you know what? I'm quite open, and I'll even give you a little demo of it, just as a quick one.
yeah,
It's still very
we
much
can
an alpha
share
stage.
screen if you want.
So I'll sort of share the story a little bit. So as most marketers will know, back in March, Google launched AI mode pretty much globally. That sent a lot of people like me into a frenzy. Oh no, are we going to track this? What are we going to do? How do we get there fundamentally? So there was a lot of tools emerging on the market. Either they're ridiculously priced that and I got to a point I thought to myself, I may as just make my own.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty much what I did. And it was started off to be a bit of a tool just for me, but it's kind of developed in a way that, it's kind of too good to share. So it basically what it does is it tracks your citations on AI searches, but it also has capabilities for the user to submit their keywords to it so they can have a look on different models of LLMs as well, find out how they're mentioned, the sentiment behind the mentions. And also I've this week, as I was just saying in our pre-call, I've developed a reverse engineered version of it. So you can actually discover what you're being cited in without even knowing. So us typical SEOs will have a nice long list of keywords we want to track and follow. Sometimes we just target those and work towards those and not necessarily have a think about what else is there, what else can we do. And so that's what the tool does. And it's to be honest with you, it's been a lot of hard work and good,
Yeah.
but I'm
Sure.
using it already for client work, and strategies I'm getting off the back of it in the creative sense it's just been fantastic. Like I say, it's too good not to share. So I'll be hopefully putting an alpha or beta stage out early next year, I would say. But all those trusted pre people and friends can have a little taste of it sooner. So.
Hey, nice. Yeah, that's super exciting. There's that very last thing that you're mentioning of the last week, which reverse engineering it and looking for opportunities, keyword opportunities, longer prompt opportunities. I'm curious with a tool like this, how do you see that being a competitive advantage to your agency? Or maybe a better question is like, what is the competitive advantage for agencies in the future?
So as it stands, you'll have, I'll say, your typical SEO gets the keyword, tries to go organically, and then once it gets page one, brilliant, fantastic, clients happy. Especially over the last year with all the algorithmic changes, AI mode coming out, ChatGPT being more dominant, taking that share of cut from Google itself to the point where it's really pushing Gemini now.
Yeah.
What I would say is it's still quite early days.
Hmm.
So what I'm doing for a lot of my clients is I'm getting ahead of the game. So I'm putting these strategies in sooner rather than later, so they got a competitive advantage. I am
Hmm.
noticing that with doing this and revamping, say maybe their content marketing strategy or something, they're getting cited more often. They're getting more referral traffic from these LLMs that
Mm.
they are typically resulting in sales. Actually, just a few weeks ago, I got a call from a potential client, and I've done the usual thing. Oh, hi, how did you find us? And he said, "Oh, I found you on ChatGPT." And I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
okay, this is real." And people are
Yeah.
actually starting to use it now for buying things or purchasing things. I mean, what was it, about a month ago now? Google's announced that they're going to be releasing ads for AI mode and things like that. So
Mm.
there's a few ways you can look at it. You can, for me personally, looking forward,
Mhm.
this could be the next search engine.
Yeah.
So it's paramount that we get, as an SEO guy, get ahead and get in there quick so we can cement those places and uphold those places as well going forward. So, it's a very interesting but still turbulent time. We get different models coming out every week.
Yeah.
So, how do you
Yeah.
keep up with it? But fundamentally, the way in which I'm doing this is it's just basic prompting. So it'll always be pretty much the same throughout with a few variations. So you always get similar to, if not the same result.
I mean, with GEO or AI overviews, you kind of touched on it earlier, but is there, is it citing more brand mentions? Is it citing what are you seeing based on the tool or based on your own observations that are like the best way to get cited in overviews?
Plenty of different ways to get started. Going back to what we were talking about, the core fundamentals of SEO will get you there and in the mix.
Mhm.
In the last sort of month or so, as I've been developing this, as I've been churning through my code and all those nice things, I've
Mhm.
kind of found that there is already some kind of ranking page, list, who's cited first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and it goes all the way down. So part of the tool I'm building is almost like a keyword tracker tool, but just simply for AI mode. So,
Mm.
if you're cited first, you'll be cited 2 or 3 times. And like I
Hmm.
can show you this in the tool. I've got a little demo of, the sort of processes and thought behind what I've been doing to build this out as an SEO guy and thinking, right, okay, I want to see this. How do I do that? So if you're happy to, I'll be more than happy to show you it as a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's jump in.
let's
Let's
do
jump
it.
in.
Okay,
This is gonna be
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, you have to
Cool.
bear with me because it's it's a bit rough around the edges in certain places. Like I said, it's very much an alpha build.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. I mean, even if it's a spreadsheet, like I still think that's extremely valuable.
No, the thing is that you can see it's pretty fleshed out. I'm just churning through bugs at the minute, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
So what I've got is I've got a few tabs and the sort of typical stages I would go through to get some sort of positive reaction back. So what I've got here is the Victory Digital dashboard for Matrona, and what
Hmm.
we've got here is an organic rank tracker, as you would normally do on any sort of thing. You know, a lot of dashboards already have these. It tracks your organic position. I've got a few keywords in here already. You can see just a few ones that are related to me and my business, which would be digital
Hmm.
marketing agency and Barnstable. It's tracking quite well. We're in fourth at the minute, which is fantastic. But
Mm.
what it does do when compared to other tools is it tracks if you're mentioned in AI search. So you can actually see if you're double
Mm.
whammying. And if we click through to the keyword in particular here,
Mhm.
if it decides to work or not, yeah, it's
Mhm.
working a bit clunky. It'll give you a lot more actionable insight in here as well. So there's not much
Mm.
historical data because I pressed this earlier, but it breaks it down for you, shows if you're featured in the local pack within SERPs
Mm.
with your organic position and things like that. These are the kind of normal things that you would see normally in there. But what makes
Mhm.
this tool a little bit better is it helps you to discover what's wrong with your website, or how you can
Mm.
improve it a little bit more. So I've built in a site auditor that looks at the accessibility of your website. Now, one thing we know is the accessibility to the website is massive and important, because you're going to have all these LLMs tracking and scraping through your website, right? So
Mhm.
you've got to make sure it's, quick, fast, all the coding's pretty nice. So I've developed that all through as well. So these are all the little things that I suppose on a technical sense makes it a little bit better.
Mm.
Just a few weeks ago, we were looking at the factors that makes up a good citation. We know content is one of those, right? And we can delve into
Mhm.
that good later on. But this tool will track and flag little things for you, including bits of schema you may want to include on
Hmm.
your website for a certain page, which is fantastic. But
Mm.
this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So there's sort of two parts of this platform. There's the typical standard SEO one type. There's also, you might sort of see on the left-hand side, is an LLM section. And this is
Yeah.
when things get a little bit more interesting. So I've done a quick search earlier for, can you find me a digital marketing agency in Barnstable? Hopefully I would be showing up in that one as a marketing agency in
Uh-huh.
Barnstable. But notice how I've used a slightly longer tail keyword here and more question
Yeah.
based, because we are seeing that when people they're treating the LLMs as, I'll say, sort of real people. They're asking
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I often say please and thank you at the end
Oh,
of
yeah.
us, just in case, the machines rise or something like that, So
Uh-huh. The inevitability. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So we are seeing those sort of patterns come through as it is. And you can see just this quick crawl here. It's telling me I have been mentioned. And what we
Wow.
can do then is click through, and then we can find out exactly how we're being showcased. Now, there's a few sort of bits missing here, like sentiment and stuff that will be included in this.
Huh?
So I have had it working a few weeks ago. I've broken it since, so I couldn't show it today. It would read the text for you and say, oh, hang on, this is a positive mention from ChatGPT. I think it's
Yeah.
worth mentioning that it's usually quite neutral, its responses, but you can get
Sure.
positive ones in there as well, which is great for your brand recognition.
Mhm.
So going through here, it's got the basic stats, how long the prompt, how much of the generated response was, how long it would take to read, and all the typical numbers, but it gives you the response here, what it's actually generated. Now, this needs to be tidied up a little bit for
Oh.
production, but what it will do as well is it will highlight where you're mentioned as well. So you can see the sources, how you've been spoken about. So I can see here, so, image of Victory Digital, here we are, mentioned here. Here's our 5-star Google rating, so we're fantastic.
Yeah.
We're a marketing agency, and then a few more citations down here. But this is where it gets really interesting, where we left off before. Here's the ranking table for these citations.
Oh, nice. And this is pulled in from like Ahrefs or
No, 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 no. This is my own crawler.
Oh,
And
I
what
see. Okay.
so the user will
Nice.
pop in their target keyword. Like for me, it was, can you find me a marketing agency? The tool will go off, do the search for you, then
Uh-huh.
analyze the results for you, and then organize it and display it for you. So this is why I've been staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning most
Yeah.
nights doing all these fiddly little things to make sure it works. But this is a real good example of your visibility within the citations. You can see here, my agency's been mentioned 3 times here, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's mobilizing the results.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is where I'm going with it, because this is what I mean. This is the way it's going. The question
Yeah.
is in what 1 year, 2 years, maybe 3 years time, is this going to be the new search engine in terms of
Y-
get rid of organic or make it absolutely legacy? Right?
Yeah.
So this next bit is the bit I was telling you about reverse engineering it. So it's all great. A lot of SEOs like us will have our keywords, set keywords, done our research, got our search volumes, competition levels, all the rest of it, so we can make an informed decision about our strategies. But
Mhm.
Sometimes, we're not perfect. We do miss a few. So what I've done is I reverse engineered my formula to find out what we are actually being cited for as well. So
Mm,
here's just a few snippets of keywords for us that's come back, but I can click it. None of these I target, by the way, for the business
sure.
here. There's no landing page on my website. There might be
Hmm.
an article about it. So if we look at this keyword here, marketing content analysis, I can see I'm being cited here. If I click,
Mm,
it's a little bit broken. You can see here, still working through it.
sure.
Gives you here's my citation. I'm ranking first. I never knew I was ranking for this keyword.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
fantastic. What can I do? Here's the link to it was actually a help and advice page on our website. So hang on a minute.
Nice.
Okay, cool. I'll add that to my list to check out later and maybe
Hmm.
do a bit more content on it. Because I know between me and you, that piece of content is not fantastic.
Yeah.
But as I'm developing this, and this is why it's taking so long, I'm even starting to get to the point now where I'm able to put reasonably accurate search volumes on this as well. So that marketing content analysis, I estimate, will have 40 searches a month, which then helps me to prioritize my strategies going forward as well.
Yeah.
So this is why this has been probably more fun than not to get
Yeah.
done, because I'm like, oh, hang on a minute, I found this and I found that, or I can calculate this and then do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not the strongest coder, so it's taking me a little bit longer than most to get this done, but it's looking pretty good at the minute. And just to
Yeah.
give you an insight, just before I finish this bit off, here's what we're going to be publishing on day one. So you'll have
Hmm.
everything from the organic keyword tracker, you have Google page speed metrics for your accessibility, even down to Bing as well for Copilot and ChatGPT relations there, site
Hmm.
auditors, and all sorts of Perplexity as well. I'm even going to get via Google Cloud GA4 in there as well, so you can tie in all of these metrics and make an informed decision about your marketing strategy going forward. So yeah, this is why it gets so exciting for us, because we get all
Wow.
this fresh new data,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. It is literally a whole new world for us as SEOs at the minute.
Yeah. Dude, Kai, thank you for showing me that and the audience. Like, I think it shows hope for people, especially
Yeah.
SEOs and like even small business owners, Like we were mentioning, the barrier to entry for digital marketing is getting lower by the day. Content's easily being created by these GPTs, by these AIs. I listened to Elon on Rogan's podcast talking about like in the future we might not even have apps. It might just be, your I almost called it a companion, but maybe it is a companion. But like your chat assistant that's
Mm.
just going out and bringing you whatever you need instead of SERPs. It very well may be the case.
Possibly. I mean, who knows? Like we
Yeah.
alluded to earlier, AI is evolving so quickly and it's being used in so many cases.
Mhm.
I'm probably between me and you, I'm probably a little bit more old school where I still do a lot more manually than not. But there's a pretty good reason for that. So as you half mentioned, a lot of people are using AI to create their content now. But
Mhm.
when we take a step back of what AI actually is,
Mhm.
it's basically a tool that goes off and scrapes a website, gathers all that data, regurgitates it somewhat,
Mhm.
and then generates a response for you based on information that's currently present. Now, if you're that person who's generating that content again, you're regurgitating those original sources, right? So you're
Yeah.
bringing nothing new to the table. And this is
Mhm.
where the strategies we do is a little bit different. So I will say to my staff or my clients, I'll say like, okay, maybe get some ideas from it, but do it
Mhm.
yourself. I once done a test. I mean, this was a little while ago, so things have changed a little bit now. I've done a test of same content, same domain authority and main factors, but three
Mhm.
separate pieces of content. One that was fully ChatGPT, one that was half, and then one that's fully written by me. And you can only
Mm.
hazard a guess which one performed the best. It was the one fully written by me.
Yes.
What I would say is it's not a bad thing using it to create content, but what I would say is you're not bringing anything to the table if you do that. You're just mixing in with the crowd, but you want to sit yourself as setting yourself apart from the crowd. So
Mhm.
what's something new can you bring? You might write
Mhm.
a topic about fixing a sink. It's been done a million times, right? But what's different about the way you do it compared to someone else? And that's when you'll
Mhm.
get cited a little bit more often, and you'll get showcased that more often.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is why reviews are being cited, user-generated content like
Mm.
Reddit and Quora, those are being cited
Yeah,
more is because they're unique cases. So
yeah.
even like case studies, feedback, like examples from your clients, local samples mentioning the name of the city, etc. Those are all things that can help the content pop because it's a real live interaction with atoms in the real world.
Mm,
That ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever can't come up with,
yeah,
or with Gemini.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm curious. Did you build a lot of that on like Cursor, or what was the platform, or was it all like your own coding?
Pretty much my own coding. I was doing a lot of
Wow.
Node.js for it, hence the eye bags and the late nights. Because of course, man, running a business, sorting out clients, and then doing this on top. And of course, there are, like I said, there are tools starting to do a lot more of this sort of stuff. So if I do want to, push this live and make a few pennies out of it, then I've got to be
hmm
reasonably quick as well, because it's only
Yeah.
a matter of time before someone else comes up with this idea and does it, and maybe does it better. You never
Yeah.
know.
No, exactly. I mean, something that I was noticing during the demo was you do have that opportunity, right? Longer tail keyword, but there's also the side of like depth of knowledge, like knowledge depth or niche depth or like industry depth of knowledge. Like that comes from nuance. And I almost see like two different, angles to that with being T-shaped. You can go after those longer tail like keywords where maybe there's less search volume, but there's also more like opportunity to be unique. How do you think about like creating content? Is it more like depth in one specific, let's say, keyword cluster, or do you think there's more opportunity, or is it both? I mean, I'm thinking in terms of budget, like how do you
Yeah.
allocate resources?
Good question. I'd probably go with the both angle because
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of articles that are dominating or have been there for many years. They're
hmm
typically, 1,500 words long. They've got a FAQ section that's all schemed up, and that will
hmm
cater to those long tail keywords. Mentally, it's all relevancy, though, isn't it? A single
mm
topic, that cluster of keywords, as you mentioned. If you can elaborate and make your content informative, unique, and like I said, bring something new to the table, you'll cover not just the organic positions but also AI as well. And this is very much what we're seeing. If you do
mm
your core fundamentals, you take the time to make something a little bit more special than usual, you will be
hmm
rewarded for it.
Yeah. More. I like that. More special. I mean, it's it's coming down to like human being valuable in the end.
Yeah, and
Is like
this
that
goes
that
back to
human
your
input.
Elon message, like,
Yeah.
who's controlling the AIs at the minute? Humans. Who's controlling the
hmm
prompts that go into it? Humans. When I was using a little bit of AI, because like I said, I'm not the strongest coder, I was using a little bit of AI to supplement my Node.js knowledge. But the
hmm
thing is, it's how you use it. If you're just using it to generate copy paste, that's no good. But for me personally, I'll be okay. Can you please check this code? Okay, there's a few mistakes in there. Why is there a few mistakes in there? And it will tell you. Learn from it, and you can better prompt it and develop yourself, not only the AI as well.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. Is like, what do you think that marketers are currently doing that's a mistake that's holding them back from getting more visibility? And I think it's that they're just taking
Yeah,
the response from GPT at face
yeah,
value as
honestly.
opposed to asking why.
I see it all the time. Even sometimes with a client, they'll say, "Oh, I've generated this content." I'll be like, "Oh, this is pretty good." The
Mm.
writing's a bit better than your emails, maybe sometimes. Have you
Uh
AI
huh.
generated this? Oh, yeah, I just quickly done it. I was like, okay, I'm going to go over this if that's all right with you. Just to make sure. I mean, sometimes it's all right, sometimes it's good, but that is the biggest problem, is just people, I'm going to sort of say how it is, getting a bit lazy with it,
Yeah.
and not having that creativity and that flair, and that's what stands people out, compared to the rest of the crowd. You've got to have that creative spark. And to those creative sparks and those unique thoughts. This is why, between me and you, I don't use tools so much. So I mean, like I said, I'm a little bit old school, so I can do it all manually myself, but I don't use tools so much like Ahrefs or SEMrush, because they just
hmm
auto-generated strategies that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can have.
Yes.
Where is that unique creativity? Like, I built, like I said right at the beginning of this call, I built this business
hmm
on having that, being different on that, and it's always
hmm
worked well. The strategies are typically on point.
hmm
If I'm just doing my image alt codes, or I'm just doing a few metadata that SEMrush has told me to do, that's not really that valuable, is it? And it's not. It's the factors that are so minuscule these days that you can leave it down the priority list a little bit more. Work on the bigger stuff, the stuff that's actually going to get you some leads and inquiries or whatever it may be you're after.
Yeah. I mean, it does all come back to business value and ROI and like making sure that the business is achieving revenue, not just, vanity metrics like impressions or, I mean, I feel like there have been even sometimes traffic can be considered a vanity metric. Like really what we're
Yeah.
looking at is like, conversions and revenue and sales value. In 2026, if we're looking ahead, like what metrics do you think businesses should be looking at to determine like the value of their marketing?
It's a bit of a tricky one because right at the minute, what we're seeing from the ground floor is increased organic impressions, a
Okay.
typical reduction of traffic, especially
Yeah.
since March when AI Overview came out. So, as you just said, it's a bit of a vanity metric with the traffic
Mhm.
and stuff. Of course, you want more people to come to your website because of your brand visibility. I would simply just say your standard KPIs, and which fundamentally for everyone, it'd be sales and inquiries. Just look at
Mhm.
that. If you've had a reduction of that since in March, then there's something wrong.
Mhm.
We're typically finding quality traffic is still keeping those margins up for us, and in some cases improving.
Mm.
And since March as well, since everything's kind of hit the fan, you got to widen your horizon to try and get more funnels through. So for the last 3 or 4 years, for a lot of my clients, I've been looking at other funnels as well, not just SEO. I mean, I've built a team here. I've got a social expert, a PPC expert. I've got a content marketing expert. I've even got a video editing expert,
Mm.
and that covers the whole bracket of everything typically.
Mhm.
And so what I would say is if you're a very heavily reliant person on organic traffic, start
Mhm.
looking at those other funnels now. Start doing some link building or start doing some PR. Start
Mm.
doing small advertisements in your local radio station or something like that. Like, don't just rely on one thing because
Mhm.
right now, with everything being up in the air as it is and AI taking chunks of traffic for itself, you can't rely on that all the way going forward. You can start working towards it or start working on other channels, but don't just solely rely on still be there, of course, because there's still a large portion of searches there, and it would be enough to make you rich and famous. Just be common sense. I think would be the main thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of marketers are kind of stuck in this gray area of, do I double down and basically just hope that I made the right choice, or do I expand and start adding additional services, PPC, performance, social, etc. But in doing so, I mean, it diverts focus, right?
Yeah, I mean, a few weeks ago, I added a generative engine optimization specialist page to our website because that's what we're working on now.
Mm. Mhm.
Don't limit yourself. Like if you're good at SEO, brilliant. Learn a bit more about something else because
Mm.
we all know it's all tied anyways.
Right.
So digital marketing as a whole, you want to be doing the whole lot of it. Okay, you might get a
Yeah.
specialist in for one certain bit or whatever. And this is why the team I've got is built the way it is because we cover the whole umbrella of it. So yeah, I would say don't just stick on SEO, keep learning. And if you are just an SEO person
Mhm.
like me, broaden your horizon into AI. It's a fascinating world and how this could go down.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I completely agree. Like 90+% of my conversations, either on podcasts or internally or, at networking events, like everybody wants to know about AI.
Yeah.
And, there's the opportunity side, but I think with each opportunity, there also comes a lot of risk and a lot of, downsides that could happen.
Well, not necessarily with this though, because if you think about it, right, the core
Sure.
fundamentals are for just SEO. So
Uh
if you're
huh.
an SEO guy, then you're doing all these, hundreds of factors to determine that you get onto page one of Google. That's going to
Hmm.
automatically correlate over to AI. You just need to report on that, and that's what's been missing over the last 8 or 9 months. Is you can't
Mm.
you can't get those metrics. You don't know actually how well you're doing, and this is why I started developing this for myself because I
For the
didn't know.
metric side.
I knew my SEO was good and top tier, and I was doing really well because my keyword rankings were saying they're really good. Hundreds of percent up every year. And traffic was, fluctuating a little bit because of the AI and stuff. I was like, hang on, this isn't quite right.
Mm.
So where's it going? Found out as ChatGPT was one of the biggest referring things we had for our clients. I was like, okay,
Mm.
so right, how are people finding us? What are the keyword rankings for ChatGPT? Was my first initial question. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I've got an Ahrefs account for my backlinking. Let's check on that. Doesn't do anything with that. Let's check GA4. No, it doesn't report any of that. Let's check on Search Console. No, it doesn't check. You can't get the results from there either. How
Hmm.
am I going to get these results? And that's how this was born. So yeah, SEO, keep going as you are. Keep, all those things you've learned over the years, keep going because they're the same factors that will determine you in AI as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You're right. Like the risks of AI are like I think a little bit further in the future, and they're a little bit more
Yeah,
universal as
possibly.
opposed to
It
just
depends
SEI
how it
specific.
plays out because, as we said, got ads going to be playing a big part in it soon. It's going to get more competitive, So
Mm,
yeah. It's, I think fundamentally it's just fear of the unknown, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
we don't know
yeah,
how it's going to pan out, so we can't prepare for it. If we can't prepare for it, we're going to freak out.
yeah. Fear of change.
Yeah,
for a
me a
lot
bit
of
of that as well. I usually embrace it. I
yeah,
have a
yeah.
little freak out first, but then I'll be like, okay, I've got to do this. Let's do it.
And in 2026, I'm also conscious of time here as we wrap up. Many agencies, they experience, like you said, word of mouth and referrals are the main source of their own leads, even though the business that they're doing is finding leads for other businesses
Mhm.
digitally. Like it's kind of it's an interesting, balance, I guess. Like we do digital work, but our most of our clients come from in person. Are you thinking about doing talks, like doing more podcasts, doing networking events, or how are you thinking about in-person lead generation for your agency?
For me, do you know what? I mean, I said, oh, this is my first ever podcast, so I hope I've done
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah,
I typically like to think of myself as a bit of a hidden gem. I'm just like a workhorse. I'll sit here all day long and just work really hard. I
uh-huh,
don't usually get out, but I should be getting out and doing these things because I got a whole wealth of knowledge. And I did
yeah,
do a presentation at a place about a few weeks ago where I, told some local businesses, what to expect, etc. And I kind of enjoyed it. I think I'm just probably going
yeah,
to do it more for my fun and entertainment, I think.
yeah,
What I would say for anyone who is thinking of, going down different funnels, do as much as you can. You
hmm,
know, there's not enough hours in the day. We all know that. So just do it sporadically and do as much as you can is the biggest thing, really.
yeah. I mean, building relationships is definitely a brand protection strategy, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
in the
I would
future.
say so, and I would say
Yeah,
so. But online reputation goes a long way. That
yeah,
it scares the heck out of me the day I might get a negative review. you
yeah.
know,
Right. You're like, no, don't
you
do it.
never know.
Don't do
No,
it.
that's damaging.
It is.
So
It
yeah,
is.
you just keep going. The talks and stuff like this are fantastic to do. It gets you involved. It keeps you up to date as well. That's sometimes the biggest struggle is keeping up to date. As we mentioned,
Yeah.
these things are evolving daily, weekly. So it's hard to keep up unless you're literally chronically online.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah. Which some of us are. I mean,
so yeah, I try not to be.
for our own mental health, right?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Well, Kai, thank you for being here. Congratulations on your first podcast episode. Man,
Thank
I don't
you,
know why
man.
you don't do more of these, bro.
I
You're a
should
really good
do. I
guest.
should do. I'll hit you up. We'll do another one.
Yeah, let's do it. Where can people find more about Kai Simpson and Victory Digital?
So yeah, you can find our website victory.digital. Take a look. We've got loads of good resources and stuff on there. So take a look if you want to delve in a little bit deeper about what I've spoken about today. And then I will be announcing at some point on that website the new Matrona.io platform. Like I said right at the beginning, though, it's still an alpha build, but it's working. So keep your ears to the ground, and I'll probably post out on LinkedIn. You can find me on there as well, just Cai Simpson, CAI Simpson, like the Simpsons. And yeah, hit me up, and then I'm always happy to have a chat or a shinwag.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I like how you think strategically and you can go deep not only into like the business aspect, but also the technical aspect of SEO and seeing the trends. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be looking forward to Matrona, and I wouldn't be surprised if that just like pops off, dude, and completely
I
revolutionizes your
appreciate that,
agency.
man. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Good
Hopefully.
to have good to have you. Until next time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.